What is up, everybody? I hope you are having a fantastic evening. Your San Francisco 49ers just won 20-10, and I'm riding a little solo dolo tonight. It's late here on the East Coast. David lives in Minnesota. It's late over there. He lost his voice somehow. I don't know what's going on there. So it's just me tonight, which also means you guys contribute more than ever. Let's hit this intro and we'll be right back to it. All right, welcome back to Last Second Sports, where we are giving you our take down to the last second. As I said, it is post game time. Now, before we get too full in here, I'll give everybody a minute to get in here. I do want to remind everybody that tonight's show, along with the whole season, is brought to you by Sleeper. You can get a 100% deposit match of up to $100 using promo code LSS. You can play daily fantasy, weekly fantasy, do your more or lesses. Looks like Christian McCaffrey might be a guy you want to go more on. I'm just saying. And you can get your $20 entry. You don't have to even make a deposit. Use promo code LSS to get a free $20 entry. Use it wisely. Now's the time. If you've ever been on the fence, get your free 20 bucks. Link is pinned in the chat, and it's also pinned in the description. All right, let's get to this post-game show, fellas. Ladies, the few of you that watch, I see you too. All right, listen. 49ers moved to 5-2. I've said it a million times this season, and I'm going to continue to say it. This is the most fun I've had watching a team in the Shanahan era. The grittiness of this team, the way they just stick to it. For those of you that watch Behind Enemy Lines, I was asked, what is the strength of the 49ers? And my answer wasn't a position group. A lot of times when I ask that question, I expect, well, it's our defensive line or the offensive line or, maybe the running game, what have you. But for this year's 49ers, the strength is that they just don't go away. It doesn't matter what happens to them. They continue to fight. They continue to battle. We see it week in and week out, and it's the most impressive, fun thing to watch. You've got a backup quarterback in. You're 4-1 with a backup quarterback. He's had basically no weapons. This team hasn't been able to run the ball up until tonight. Sporadically haven't been able to stop the run up until tonight. And somehow they lose Bosa. They lose Warner. They lose Luter. They lose, not Luter. They lose Green. They lose Stout. And it doesn't matter, man. They just keep on ticking. Kittle's first game back has 0 catches. Now, he definitely made an impact. We'll talk about that. But you just think of all the injuries and everything that's going on with this team, and they continue to battle. I did think they would win this game. The Falcons, to me, that was a great win last week, but they've been a completely different team on the road than they've been at home, and that showed again tonight. But you have to credit the San Francisco 49ers for this. They made Penix look completely lost out there. I don't know if they want to consider going back to Cousins or what's going on over there. That's their problem. The most impressive thing is what they did to Bijan Robinson. Yes, Bijan Robinson got loose as a receiver, and even his running numbers were skewed because technically they had a swing pass to him that ended up counting as a run. That was his biggest gain, but outside of that, he couldn't get loose in the run game, and this is a guy who's been dominating all season long. How the 49ers did this, Bethune was out of the lineup for a drive. It just so damn impressive. So impressive. And the 49ers deserve so much credit. Their coaching staff deserves so much credit. Every player on that team deserves so much credit. And it's the most fun that I have had watching a 49er team under this regime. It just really is. All right, a couple super chats already. Defying all odds, rookies learning how to win. Let's fricking go. Yeah, this season couldn't go any better as far as the future of this team. Jason says rank the additions: Sala, Pinheiro, Huff, and Jones. I'd probably go Sala, Jones, Pinheiro, Huff would probably be the order. It's probably the right order. 808 Niner, member for 21 months. I appreciate you. Says Lucas needs to start at nickel. He just made big plays. We're going to talk about that. We are definitely going to talk about that. All right. Let's talk about this defense, because I was just asked the question, who's made the biggest impact as far as guys that came onto the team this offseason? It's Robert Saleh. Robert Saleh, then Mac Jones. Maybe it's 1A. I don't know, however you want to split that. But what I do know is that Robert Saleh's impact on this team is so felt. After losing Fred Warner, the one thing I wanted to see from Robert Saleh was how exotic was he going to be on defense. I wasn't going to judge him based off of results. All he can do is try to be as exotic as possible. He can't sit back and cover 3, cover 4, cover 6, cover 2. He couldn't do those things anymore. And that's what he prefers to do. He prefers to try to get home with 4, maybe show some blitzes here or there, but he likes to have just really good defenders making big time plays. But he hasn't had that luxury this year, and he certainly doesn't have that luxury after losing Bosa and Warner. Let's not forget that Upton Stout, who had been starting, missed this game. Renardo Green goes down very, very early. Luter comes in, doesn't look good early, but he rebounded nicely. He's been playing musical chairs at the safety position, trying to figure things out. What Robert Saleh did tonight with his game plan was so incredible. He got pressure on every big time down when they needed to get pressure. The run defense was absolutely incredible. And Robert Saleh did exactly what I'd hoped he would do and how I was going to judge him, which was how exotic can he be? And he was extremely exotic. Free pressure with only 4-man rushes because of the simulated blitzes that he was bringing, dropping guys back into coverage. He just continues to put guys in a position to win. And that's all that you can ask for from the defensive coordinator. Robert Saleh has done a phenomenal job all year long. We've seen it. But to hold this Falcons team to 10 points just 1 week after losing Fred Warner and a couple weeks after losing Nick Bosa, I mean, how much more impressive can this be? He's just... He's phenomenal. He's absolutely phenomenal. And what's crazy is he was going against his pupil in Ulbrich on the other side. And Ulbrich did a good job for the most part-ish. I mean, he couldn't contain the run game, but listen, it got busy tonight. It is what it is. But he did a pretty good job. It just wasn't as good as Saleh. What Saleh did, missing his guys, I'll give you an example. Ulbrich loses... Divine Diablo early in this game. That's a huge loss for them. It is. However, he didn't make the proper adjustments to work around that. He didn't have his guys in a position to win. And it can be tough losing guys mid-game. I think maybe it's tougher to lose a big-time player mid-game, much like the 49ers lost Warner last week. We saw how it affected them in that game. This week, obviously, they have a week to prepare. They know he's going to be missing. But even then, to allow the 49ers to run the ball, turning back the clocks the way that they did, Ulbricht's got to own that. He didn't have his guys in a position, and he kept doing the same things over and over and over and over. Not Saleh. Saleh was so exotic with everything that he did. And even when Ulbrich would blitz, Mac Jones was on it. And he saw it coming from a mile away. He threw exactly where the blitzer was coming from. Nobody got in quick. Nobody got in free outside of a couple plays. And a lot of that was just good players making big-time plays. But the 49ers were put in a position to be very, very successful throughout the course of this game. And he's relying on guys like Diamador Lenore to just do his thing. And then outside of that, man, he's trying to manufacture everything around it. And it's so impressive watching Robert Saleh work. Definitely the best addition this offseason, for sure. Yeah, we're going to talk about Lucas here in a second. Kent says, rumors of my demise were greatly exaggerated, CMC. Yeah, listen, all right. I really don't want to be negative tonight in any fashion. There's a couple things that we need to talk about, but CMC looked awesome tonight. However, when you have a conversation about losing a step, that is not the same as saying somebody's completely washed. That's also not saying that you can't have an amazing game here or there. But what CMC has done in the totality of the season, having one game where he's rushed effectively, I'm glad it happened today. They certainly needed it for sure. It was good to see it. But if you're truly OPOY CMC, if you haven't lost a step, you're going to do that more than one game out of 7. Like, can we see it for a few weeks in a row? Let's see it next week and the week after. Let's see him stack these games as far as a runner. Now, he's been phenomenal as a receiver, absolutely impactful as a receiver, and he looks amazing there. But as a runner, it's been clear that he has lost a step. Tonight, it looked amazing. Turn back the clocks. Let's see it happen again. But if it, let's assume that it can happen again. Let's assume that this can be the regular thing from here on out. And maybe this is a Kittle impact. If that's the case, the 49ers are going to be extremely dangerous going forward. Extremely dangerous going forward. So, listen, if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But I'm also not going to just take one game, get excited, and override everything that we have seen up till this point, because it wouldn't be the right thing to do. Paul III says, won't be surprised if they are 9 wins before the bye. Yeah, it's possible. I mean, so I think I went through with Sunil and picked the rest of these games. I did have him beating the Falcons. Before the season started, I had him at 10 wins. As I went through the schedule, it looked more and more like a 9-win team. Tonight was very impressive, though. And again, though, I'm not impressed by the Falcons. They had one impressive week last week. I don't know. We'll see. But the Niners, again, tonight is about what happened tonight. And what happened tonight was so impressive, so well coached. All these players played their butts off. I'm just here to celebrate the win. But if we're talking about the season in totality, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But if the Niners can make it into the playoffs, maybe they do make a trade here at the deadline. I don't know what kind of trade that would be. I would assume for an edge defender. Maybe. I mean, some of these edges have been playing really, really well. I mean, Sam O's been playing well. If they believe that Gross Matos can make an impact and he's going to be back at some point, maybe they don't make a trade for an edge. Maybe they make a trade somewhere else. I don't know. But but the linebackers are playing good. So are you going to trade for a linebacker? I don't know, man. I don't know. But what I do know is that tonight was an amazing win. Will says Huff looking like prime Alden Smith on those dips, boy. Ooh-wee. Yeah, I don't know about that. Prime Alden Smith was pretty special. Prime Alden Smith was pretty damn special, but we'll take it. We will take it. All right. So we talked a little bit about the defense. Let's talk about Lucas in particular, though. And Luter. Actually, let's talk about Luter first. So I tweeted out in the first half, right before the first half ended, if you remember, Penix completes a nice long pass to London, right on Luter, and then completes, I believe the next one was to Mooney, right on Luter. And I tweeted out, man, Luter's getting picked on. He's getting cooked here a little bit. What I will say is in the second half, Luter played much better. He was good in the run as far as a run defender. He knocked Bijan Robinson off his route on one of them. He looked like a much more effective, ready player. And it can be very, very hard to be inserted into a game when you're not expecting it necessarily. You're going against a guy like Drake London. That can be a tough matchup for sure. He did a very, very good job. As the game went along, he continued to get more comfortable. Maybe they have something in him. It's crazy, though, because this is year number 3 with Luter. I don't know what he is. I really don't. I don't know if he's a good player. I don't know if he's a bad player. And then tonight was like a microcosm of all of it because he was bad, that he was good. So I really don't know what Darrell Luter is or is not. But as a depth piece, seemingly pretty good. Hopefully Renardo Green's okay. I think it was a toe injury. If it's a turf toe, that's not ideal. We're seeing what that does to Brock Purdy. And here you go again. If that's the case, then Robert Saleh is certainly going to have to continue to work his magic. But what I really want to talk about is Upton Stout and Lucas. Lucas was a player that earned his way onto this team. He was supposed to be a camp body. He's bounced around the league, hasn't really made an impact in the NFL. His preseason was so impressive that the 49ers had no choice but to keep him. He's basically strictly a nickel corner. You usually don't keep multiple nickel corners, especially when you look at the 49ers who have versatility in Deommodore Lenoir, who can play nickel. Renardo Green can play a little bit of nickel. If somebody gets injured, you can switch things around. You usually favor keeping the outside corners, especially in the 49ers scenario. But Lucas played so effectively in the preseason, they had no choice but to keep him. And then the question was, well, it's like, okay, well, Stout is playing good and he's a rookie. You want to develop him. But he was basically just given the job. Now, I don't think he's done anything to not have the job, I guess. I mean, he hasn't been awful by any means. But Lucas is just a freaking playmaker, man. Every time he's on the field, he makes plays. Huge, huge fourth down stop that essentially put the 49ers in a position to go win this game. He recovers, well, it didn't end up being a fumble, but recovered the fumble. He's always around the ball and always making plays, and he has so much swag and everything that he brings. I think he's better at this stage than Upton Stout. Now, he's not your long-term solution. Upton Stout's probably still that guy. That's fine. But Lucas is a really, really good player. And I think you got to find a way to get him on the field. I think he's just an impact player. He certainly fits in very well with this team. I like what Lucas brings to the table. I really, really like what Lucas brings to the table. So for me, I would continue to play him. But it's a good problem to have because Upton Stout's been pretty good as well. Pretty good as well. So just some thoughts there on the defense as we continue to go through. If they can also do what they did on run defense, like for the first time all year, the 49ers actually ran the ball and stopped the run together. And one thing that we've been talking about with this team is it's really hard to go on a run in the playoffs if you can't do those two things. And the 49ers were doing neither of those things. So the fact that tonight, of all nights against Bijan Robinson, that they were able to stop the run the way that they did and run the ball with CMC the way that they did, pretty damn impressive. Pretty damn impressive. And if they can continue to do that, that's going to make this team that much harder to deal with. Tonight was the most pedestrian Mac Jones game that he has had. He's been throwing the ball 39 plus times every single game. I don't even know that he got to 30 attempts tonight. Last time I checked, he was around 25. Maybe he got up to 28, 29. But this is exactly what the 49ers want to do. This is what they've done with Purdy. This is how they've been effective. And Mac Jones didn't have to do a ton tonight, but make a timely play here or there. And that's exactly what he did. That's exactly what he did. And that's what Purdy's done when he's been at his best, is made the timely play when it's asked of him and just lean on the run game and the defense. That's when the 49ers are at their best. That's what they want to do. That's exactly what happened tonight. And if the 49ers can do this, play this ball control offense and start to run the ball effectively, and then on the flip side, stop the run, it's going to be a tough team, a tough out week in and week out. So we'll see. We'll see consistency wise. I mean, it literally is a 1 week league, and the 49ers are certainly the rule here. Some teams are kind of established. They have a lot of talent. They can work around things. They're going to be fine. The 49ers, week to week, from an injury aspect to a who's getting healthy aspect, everything included, young players playing a ton of snaps. This is a week to week league. Last week, it looked really, really bad at times. This week, it looked really, really good for the most part. We'll see what it looks like next week. They're playing the Texans in Houston. I don't know that the Texans are going to win tomorrow. They're playing Seattle. We should be Texans fans. We certainly want Seattle to lose. But either way, what I do know is that's a very tough defense over there. At home, they're going to have to be able to rattle CJ Stroud, bad offensive line. If they can do those things, they certainly can get out of there with a win. But I could see a scenario where the Texans play really good football for a week and maybe beat the Niners. So I don't know. I don't know what to expect. But week in and week out, things are very, very different, especially for a team that's dealing with the things that the 49ers are dealing with. The good news is, and we'll see who left this game with an injury. I feel like there's always a surprise, but it seems like they got out of this relatively healthy. Renardo Green is the one that I'm really, really curious about, though. I hope that Renardo Green is healthy and is going to be able to play. We'll see what's going on there. But outside of that, they should be getting guys back. Like Ricky, hopefully, should be back next week. Hopefully, Ricky should be back next week. Maybe Ayuk a couple weeks after that. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. But hopefully, the 49ers are on the mend. Because if they're on the mend, they're able to stop the run and run the ball the way that they did tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun watching this team. Brother Bob says, start Lucas and we will get our first interception. Bet the bag. Yeah, listen, Brother Bob, I tend to agree. I mean, that's the one thing that this defense has been missing. They cannot really take the ball away at the clip that you would hope that they can. But they're doing a really, really good job of just containing teams. Lucas is a ball hawk, though. That's something we know that he brings to the table based off of just him being around the ball tonight and then also watching him in the preseason. And that's where they're going to miss Fred Warner the most, because Fred Warner from last year to this year, like all the way through, his ability to just take the ball away, punch the ball out from offensive players and create turnovers or potential turnovers has gone through the roof. He's always been a phenomenal player. Fred Warner's always been a phenomenal player, but that part of his game has taken such a big step forward over the last couple of years, and it's remained consistent and was so consistent again this year. Him not being there, if they're not getting interceptions, it's going to be an issue. It's going to be an issue. So they have to find a way to create turnovers. They just have to. And Lucas, to your point, Brother Bob, is absolutely around the football on a regular basis. He might be the guy to actually get that interception. Brother Bob says BP can't gun the ball like Mac 10 did to CMC at the end. Yeah, I mean, listen, that was a pretty easy throw to make. I would hope that Brock Purdy could complete that pass. What he can't do is probably what Mac Jones did when he threw it to Robinson, giving Robinson a chance on not a 50-50 ball. I mean, he put it in a good enough spot for Robinson to make a play. That's maybe a throw that Purdy can't make, but we'll see. We'll talk about that here in a minute. Larry says, here we go again. Niner fans jumping in now. This team deserves your respect. Stay with this team. My favorite since 2019. McCaffrey has almost 1,000 yards from scrimmage. 7 games. I'll take that. Yeah, absolutely, man. And the hope is that he doesn't have to be the whole offense going forward. Kittle's back now. If Pearsall comes back, you want to be able to spell him a little bit more, take some off of his plate, because you need him to last all season long. You absolutely do. But yeah, I agree with you, Larry. I mean, this is a really, really fun team to watch. Really, really fun team to watch. We should be excited about it. Moises Rosales says, could it be that the season we least expect with all these injuries, the Niners go all the way? I guess it could be. The answer is yes, it could be. I would be shocked. But, here we go. Larry Woodard, what's up, Larry? Says he's gifting 5 memberships. All right. This is a good time to announce this. So I'm going to be teaming up with Fanatics. I just had a call with them last week. I think I'm going to have a scenario for the Rams game where I'm going to be giving away 5 jerseys from Fanatics. I haven't decided exactly how I'm going to do that yet. I think I'm going to give 3 away to members and then 2 randomly to other folks. So you have and it could be another member. It's going to be completely random by a wheel. So 3 for sure are probably going to go to members. 2 of them will go to other people, which also potentially could be members as well, depending on who's in the chat that night. But if you want to up your chances, become a member. Rams game is right around the corner. So Fanatics, we're going to do some things together this year. So I'm looking forward to that. Kilo says, we all knew Kittle made a difference, but wow, I could really be wrong here. But it didn't appear like the pocket was collapsing as much with Matt Hennessy at center. Just saying, we're going to talk about the offense here in a second. And I'm glad that you brought that up. In fact, I'm going to leave this up for just a second. Before I do, though, I do have to throw out the sponsor of today's show, Brunt. You've heard me talk about them before. Give me 60 seconds. I got to get some water, get some chapstick. You guys hear from the sponsor, and then we'll be right back. All right. Let me tell you about my friends over at BRUNT Workwear. Check these boots out, man. You can see the craftsmanship from the jump, from the box to the bags to the boots themselves. These things are built to perform. They're waterproof, safety toes. You can get soft toes, pull-ons, or lace-ups. They've got every option for every job. Brunt was tired of the workwear brands out there cutting corners. You work too hard to be stuck in uncomfortable boots that don't hold up. So they built something better. Boots that are insanely comfortable and built for any job site. For a limited time, our listeners will get $10 off at Brunt when you use promo code LSS at checkout. Just head to bruntworkwear.com, use the code LSS, and you're good to go. And after you order, they're going to ask you how you heard about Brunt. Do us a favor and tell them it was from Last Second Sports. All right, I appreciate Brunt for sponsoring tonight's show. Let's talk about the offense. Let's talk about George Kittle. George Kittle had a major impact on this game. And it's crazy because if you're a fantasy football player or you're a box score watcher, George Kittle had no impact on this game. He did nothing statistically, nothing that's going to show up in a box score, nothing that's going to help you win your fantasy league this week. But his impact in the run game is so crucial. And what's crazy to me is not just what he did as a blocker, because he did phenomenal things. We saw it play in and play out. But how everybody else around him seemed to block at a higher level. All the other tight ends, the wide receivers in particular, his impact, just his presence on this team as a blocker, phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. CMC had his best game of the season. And I don't think it's coincidence that it happened in the only full game that George Kittle was able to play. George Kittle's impact as a blocker is... This is why he's the best tight end in the game, period. There's no other tight end in the NFL that could have come in and made the impact that he made tonight for the 49ers. The 49ers got busy in the run game. CMC by far had his best game, averaging 3.1 yards per carry before tonight, and goes insane. Had 1 rushing touchdown before tonight, got 2 tonight. Now, the second one was a little bit questionable. Probably should have been a penalty on the 49ers, but we'll take it. We'll take it. That is the George Kittle impact, which brings me to my question of what the hell is Kyle Juszczyk doing on this team? What is his impact? Seriously. George Kittle, 1 game in, makes the biggest impact as a blocker. Juice is in there game in and game out, makes almost no impact as a blocker, gets the ball on a third down and very short after CMC damn near gets the first down. They hand him the ball and he loses. Kyle Juszczyk was cut this offseason, and then they had to bring him back. I don't know what his impact is. I would rather, if Kittle's healthy, have him and Farrell out there and just run with 2 tight ends and keep it pushing that way. That's how I would do it. To me, Juszczyk makes no impact on this team in a positive manner. He's not a good blocker anymore. They do the PFF ranks, before the game in primetime, they show the PFF ranks. There's 8 fullbacks in the league, 8. And he's ranked number 3, but he's paid like this super important player. I don't know what he brings to the table, but it certainly isn't the impact that George Kittle brings. And I get it if we're talking about in the passing game, but in the running game, your fullback should be making an impact the way that Kittle does. No impact whatsoever. Anyways, George Kittle, phenomenal impact. I don't think it's a coincidence. Love that he's back. Even when he's not catching any passes, he's making a big difference with this team. Brother Bob says, no dominant team. I can see us going far in the playoffs. There isn't a dominant team. However, to me, there are clearly better teams. Tampa being one of them. Philadelphia being another. Those 2 teams, I think, are clearly better than the 49ers. We'll see if the Lions can get healthy. I think they might lose tomorrow. Oh, Rams. Rams are better too. I get it. The 49ers beat the Rams. The Rams are a much better put together team than the 49ers at this point. However, this is a long season, Brother Bob. And the 49ers have been decimated with injury. What's to say that Tampa, who's already been hurt with tons of injuries, now they're getting most of those guys back, but a couple of them they're not getting back. What if they lose 1 or 2 more impact players? What happens then? And they're done for the season. Or what if the Eagles lose 1 or 2 impact players and they're done for the season? You don't know how this league's going to go. So I agree that there's no dominant team. The league is as open as it's ever been. But there are some very, very good teams and teams that I think are clearly better than the Niners. But that's week 7. I'm talking week 7. That doesn't mean that week 19, week 1 of the playoffs, that there's clearly better teams. So, yeah, keep chugging along, win these games, figure out how to get in the playoffs, and let's see what happens. I don't think it's impossible. I don't think it's likely, but it's certainly not impossible. Savage AF says, we're drinking Henny tonight. Bye-bye, friend. Oh, okay. I'm glad that you brought this up. So if we're talking offense, 2 more players that I really, really want to talk about. Jawan Jennings, Jake Brendel. I already took Juice to task. But Jake Brendel, speaking of PFF, is rated very, very high at the center position. We all watch the games. He is not a good center. Hennessy comes in, immediately a better player. Immediately. So I don't know if that's enough for him to lose his job. I don't know if Hennessy can do this consistently. But what I do know is that Hennessy is every bit as good, possibly better than Brendel, at least for this week. At least for this week. And I don't wish injury upon anybody. I hope that Brendel can make a speedy recovery. But maybe let's shoot for 2 weeks from now. Because I want to see Hennessy play a full game. I want to see what that looks like. Because if it looks as good as it looked tonight at times, then that's the path that I want to go with. But I do want to see it more. Just because Jake Brendel hasn't been good, in my opinion, doesn't mean that Hennessy off of 1 game is going to be better. We've seen this. Left guard. Remember who started at left guard to start the season? Everybody thought that he was going to be better than Banks based off of essentially a game. So I don't want to make that same mistake. However, it looked pretty dang good. It looked pretty good. Better than Brendel looked tonight. So 1 more game. If I can get 1 more game to see it, then we can make a decision. I'm good there. Jawan Jennings. Jawan Jennings last week threw a fit on the sideline. Then he got a dumb penalty that took essentially 4 points off the board, or a potential at 4 points off the board. Wanted the ball force-fed to him. The 49ers were feeding him. This week has a crucial drop, turns into an interception. Now, obviously, the 49ers won, no harm, no foul, and this was so early in the game, but again, they were in position to score points. Great throw by Mac, right on the money. Ball gets tipped in the air and intercepted. Then on a third down, jumps in the air to go get a pass, not at all aware of where his feet are, can't stay in bounds. I don't know. Jawan Jennings clearly is not near as effective as what he was last year. I'm still completely open to trading him, completely open to the 49ers trading him, and we'll see what they do. They'll probably end up keeping him, but I'm completely open to it. So I just think that a wide receiver that wants to get paid is not going to get paid. Threw a fit like that last week, has that drop today that leads to an interception. I don't know. I feel like that's pretty replaceable. And you're talking about ultimately a wide receiver 3 that is throwing fits like this. Watching him tonight, he just isn't the same player. Maybe we can say it's injury, what have you, but to me, I'm straight. Brother Bob says, Kyle Levy in his bag against LA and Atlanta. Screw him, though. Come on, man. Show Kyle some love, all right? Antonio says, in fairness, the juice, he is extra receiver, and that's his best attribute. Kyle Juszczyk stats. Here we go. Kyle Juszczyk. His best attribute is his receiving. 7 games. Checks notes. 11 catches for 100 yards. He had 1 catch for 10 yards tonight. There's 8 fullbacks in the league. The fullback position is pretty antiquated as is in today's offense. If you're not going to have the clear best one, and he's not that, you're paying a lot of money for a fullback. That's all I'm saying. And fullbacks also should probably, their primary thing is to block, not catch. So if that's the best thing that he brings, and he's not a great blocker, and he can't run the ball, I don't know that that's worth it. Joshua says, our offense could be better with Ayuk and Pearsall. Oh, absolutely it can. Absolutely it can. 808 Niner says, Gibbons looked good out there. Glad he's back, but Brendel can go on IR for the rest of the year. And Demo getting picked on these last 2 weeks. Yeah, I don't know that he's been picked on per se, but I don't know. They're not throwing his way. They're certainly testing everybody else, which is probably the right thing to do. I don't know that he's an elite outside corner, but I know that he's pretty good. He's been effective. He had a hell of a play against London, forcing him out on that one play for sure. I don't know. Demo's fine. He's fine. I don't know about Brendel on IR for the rest of the year. They might need him again. Like I said, just give me one more game. I want to see what Hennessy looks like with one more game for sure. All right. Let's talk about the quarterback situation, because we're going to continue to talk about it every time that Mac Jones plays, and the 49ers certainly win the game. The 49ers are 4-1 with Mac Jones at this point. 4-1. Let's say Brock Purdy comes back this next week against the Texans, throws an interception or 2, and the 49ers lose. What are your thoughts going to be of Brock Purdy? Because that's possible. Like, I could see that scenario. I feel like, I don't know. This is tough because I don't want to talk out of both sides of my mouth here. But if Brock Purdy truly is the franchise quarterback, you've got to play him, right? If he's healthy on the surface, but also, and I think two things can be true here. You're really putting him in a tough spot if he does come back and play next week. The fact that the 49ers went 4-1, beat a team in Atlanta that was coming off of a major win, lost to Tampa in Tampa in a game that they lost Fred Warner, and then beat the Rams and are 4-1 in totality with Mac Jones, who's been throwing the football an awful lot, showed that he can win when he's the reason essentially, or a big part of it on offense, and also showed that he can play within the confines of an offense that is running the ball at an effective clip the way that they were today. I don't know. I feel like you're putting Brock in a pretty unwinnable situation, because if he comes back next week and they win, they were supposed to win. They were winning with Mac, so they should win with you. And I'm a guy that says quarterback wins are not a stat, right? However, quarterbacks do contribute to wins in a pretty large way. If Brock Purdy comes back and they win, that's what was supposed to happen. But if they lose, it can get dicey around here really, really quick. I genuinely feel like Brock's in a no-win situation here. I do. Now, he's been hurt. Mac Jones has done a phenomenal job. I guess that's really what you get paid for, right? I mean, Brock is going to have to deal with the fallout no matter what it is. But at this point, what does Shanahan do? What is Shanahan comfortable with? What does John Lynch do? Are they looking at this at all in the same way that I am? Is anybody looking at it this way? I truly feel like this is a no-win situation. But then the flip side is this. If you continue to play Mac and he continues to win, at some point, you just can't play Brock. You can't. You have to roll with the hot hand. And the 49ers are 4-1. If Mac plays again next week and they win that game, and he's 5-1, I mean, at what point do you just give him the season and allow him to do his thing? At what point? And this isn't even a who's better or bagging on Brock. I'm just saying at some point you're getting to a point of no return. And if that return is this week for Brock, tough situation. Pretty tough situation. Because even if they win and he looks awful, people are going to point that out. The only thing good that happens is the 49ers win, he looks good. And even then, people are going to say, yeah, but that's what was supposed to happen. They're 5-2 or whatever on the season. 5-2 on the season. 4 of those wins were from Mac Jones. 1 of those losses were from Brock Purdy. So yeah, as the franchise guy, he should come in and win. What are we talking about? But if they win and he looks bad, it's like, here we go. They got lucky. They won, but Brock didn't look good. Max looked pretty good. Now you're starting that conversation. Even worse, if they lose and he doesn't look good, the conversation gets pretty loud pretty quick. But then again, on the flip side, if he continues to sit and Mac continues to play well and win, at some point you just lose your job. I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't envy Brock. I don't envy the situation that he's in. I don't envy the situation that the coaching staff is in, but I don't know. Maybe, Val. Maybe. But what if he doesn't? What if he doesn't play well? Let's look at Brock objectively. Brock hasn't played a good, clean game since, I think it was December 4th or December 8th of last year. Whenever they played the Bears, week 14, whatever that date was, we're coming up on a full calendar year since Brock has played a quality football game from beginning to end. And if you remember, that quality game came against a Chicago Bears team that was in absolute shambles. They were on a losing skid. They had fired their coach. It just wasn't good for Chicago. How can you be so confident that Brock's going to play well? Maybe he will. I'm not saying he won't. I just don't know how you have the confidence that he will. Based on what? A game 11 months ago? I don't know. Making what a controversy? Brother, listen. I'm going to tell you two things right now. Number one, if you think I have enough power to make this a controversy, then you're giving me way too much credit. That's number one. Number two, if you can't have open dialogue about the quarterback position like you can any other position on the field, let me ask you this. If you were here when I was talking about the Chase Lucas, Upton Stout, or the Hennessy, Jake Brendel situation in a very similar fashion, and you didn't say stop making it a controversy then, why do we have to protect the quarterback? What is it about the quarterback position that makes you just have to protect it? Because I don't know if you were here during that time. Even if you weren't, I can guarantee if you had been, you don't feel this strongly when I talk about the center position or the nickel corner position. But for some reason, when we talk about the quarterback position and a guy in Mac Jones who's done nothing but come in and play pretty damn good football and lead this team to 4-1, all right, if we can't even talk about it, I don't know if this is the place for you to be in post-game shows, brother. I don't know what to tell you. Oh, Gregorius Greg, I don't know that you were here for the whole show. I've been enjoying the win the whole time. But this is a real situation that we've got to talk about. We have to talk about it. We absolutely do. Jesse might be right, but it seems he is losing the fan in him. Enjoy the win. Brother, again, I was great all show, but this is a very serious topic. This is a real topic. We have to talk about it. It is what it is. Mac Dimes, Dimes. Does everybody get the Dimes nickname? Is that what it is? Everybody get. We got Sammy Dimes, we got Danny Dimes, we got Mackie Dimes. Just every backup quarterback who ends up playing well just gets the Dimes nickname. I love it. All right. Listen, brother, I don't know who that is, for one. For two, if you think that's the first time I've been called a clown today, even on social media, just go follow my feed. It happens multiple times a day. I could care less. Antonio says, keep the Glock Purdy holstered and let the Mac 10 blaze. Nice. Well played. I like what you're doing here. Gizmo Maltese says, why can't we run sweeps the way that we used to with Mostert in 2019? Isn't our small O-line built to pull and run sweeps? Yeah, I mean, I think that there is some of it that falls on the play calling. I do think that not having a guy, and a receiver that you can run in motion with the jet sweep threat. Certainly it pulls from that a little bit. But CMC is also just not a speedster, right? I mean, even when CMC was at his best, his top end speed wasn't Raheem Mostert's speed or even Breida speed. Both those guys were extremely fast running backs. So, there is some of it there. George Kittle obviously not playing up until this point. That affects it. I think there's a lot of things that go into it. I don't think it's as simple as this O-line, but one thing I will say is that you're right. This offensive line is built to do those types of things. So you would hope that would be the case. You would hope that that's what they would do. But otherwise, just go get a big bruising offensive line. All the other Shanahan disciples have been totally okay taking offensive linemen that are outside of their scope and just getting maulers, people movers. What's wrong with that? You don't have to be tricky all the time. You can go get people movers and just maul other teams. I'll take that. Oh, big C, big C, big C. Thank you for the box score scouting that you've done. I really appreciate it. Yes, I can check the box score. But if we're going to talk about interceptions and 3 of them, correct me if I'm wrong, but not all interceptions are created the same, right? An interception on first down versus an interception on fourth down are 2 very different things, for one. An interception that is created because of a receiver is not the same as an interception that is a boneheaded throw. And if we want to talk about turnovers, let's do it real quick. I mean, while we're looking at box scores, right, and we're not doing context, I mean, there's no point because we don't have eyes and we don't watch the games. So let's just not have eyes and not have context to the games, all right? We'll do that. Brock Purdy this year. 4 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He's played 2 games, and he's thrown 2 interceptions in each of those games. Okay. Let's go back to last year real quick. Well, the last game he played against Detroit, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Game against Miami, interception. Game against the Rams, interception. The last time Brock Purdy didn't throw an interception in a game, 5 games now, 5 games, 3 of those 5, he's had at least 2 interceptions. And by the way, wasn't throwing the ball at the same clip that Mac Jones has been, but I digress. Again, I hate to bring context into box score scouting. My bad. We were in the middle of box score scouting. I didn't want to interrupt it with actual context. My fault. I said I wouldn't. The last game that Brock Purdy didn't throw an interception was 6 games ago, nearly 1 full year ago, December 8th, against a Chicago Bears team that was an absolute disaster. Absolute disaster. The game before he didn't throw an interception, but that was a snow game. He also threw for only 94 yards and 0 touchdowns. The game before that, he threw an interception. A couple games before that, he threw 3. You see where I'm going with this, right? So if we're going to box score scout, we can do that. But context does actually matter, especially in games that we literally just watched, I don't know, an hour ago. If you put that interception on him and not Jawan Jennings, more power to you, brother. More power to you. Mac was just solid this game. He wasn't great at all. He just did his job. Exactly. Correct. He did. And that's all he needed to do. He's a backup quarterback. You shouldn't ask him to win any games. He's just come in and done his job to the tune of a 4-1 team with him at the helm. And if he continues to win, or if Brock Purdy comes back and they lose and he doesn't look good and maybe throws, I don't know, an interception or two like he's done the last 5 games he's played in, I don't know. It might be worth a conversation, or at least looking at it objectively. But again, it's strictly when we talk about the quarterback position that we turn it into something bigger than what it needs to be. When we talk about Hennessy playing center or Lucas playing nickel corner, not a big deal. But when we talk quarterback, oh no, let's protect Brock Purdy like he's our little brother, or like he knows us. Maybe we can be pen pals or something. I don't get it. I really don't get it. Tell me Mac Jones' best downfield throw this year, please. Brother, Brock Purdy's not playing football right now. He's missed 5 games. If Mac Jones was your typical backup quarterback, the 49ers would probably be 2-3. And Brock Purdy would either have to rush back and re-injure his toe and be done for the year, or Brock Purdy would be coming back to an impossible situation where they have no chance to make the playoffs. The fact that you're going to dog on the backup quarterback for coming in and being 4-1 with no weapons, essentially, none, for a majority of those games, outside of a player in CMC, sounds like you're a Brock Purdy fan more than a 49er fan, if I'm being real. But since we're talking, what was Brock Purdy's best throw this year? While being on the sideline and not playing football, where's his elite throw? They're 1-1 with Brock. He has 4 interceptions. You keep moving the goalposts to try to make your point, but your point's invalid, brother. It's invalid. Sunday Living says this is the same team as last year. Not personnel, the level of skill. There's literally 1 or 2 differences. They're resulting in getting us wins and not losses. Robert Saleh is the difference. Robert Saleh is that difference. Mac Jones also helping to contribute. Mac Jones right now, say what you want, but Mac Jones now, I'm not saying he's a better quarterback than Brock, but Mac Jones now is playing better football than Brock was certainly down the stretch of last year. Certainly down the stretch of last year and into the early part of this year. So, again, don't mishear me. I'm not saying Mac is better than Brock. That is not what I'm saying. But Mac, in his 5 games last year compared to Brock's last 5 games, he's played better football. He just has. Because the 49ers are 1-4 in Brock's last 5 games. And again, quarterback wins are not a stat, but Brock has also thrown 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 picks. 8 picks in his last 5 games. Mac Jones has 4, and 2 of them are on wide receivers. So, say what you want, but the last 5 from Mac has certainly been better than the last 5 from Brock. And that's not debatable. K-Star says Brock's contract makes it a controversy. You don't bench a player who makes over $50 million a year that quickly. The awkward situation is on the franchise. Oh, no. I don't think Brock's contract makes it a controversy. Oh, okay. Never mind. I see what you're saying. You're saying that if Brock wasn't being paid this, that they wouldn't even consider going back to him. They would just ride with Mac. Is that what you're saying? I don't know about that, but you could be onto something for sure. But the $50 million certainly does make it a controversy for sure. For sure. For multiple reasons. Mac has over-delivered his contract while Purdy has done nothing. Well, the thing is that Purdy over delivered on his contract too, up until he got paid, right? Like if Purdy was still inexpensive, we wouldn't be harsh on Brock. We wouldn't have to be. Like Brock outplayed his contract in a big way too. Like let's be clear about that. And then got this new contract, and so far not so good. So not at all. What's there to be mad about? The only people that bring him up are people like you. I don't talk about him. I could care less. Like I'm a 49er fan, and I want the 49ers to win. Talking about Mac Jones and Brock Purdy, which is relevant to this team, has nothing to do with Trey Lance. And in fact, just to show that I can change my opinion on things, I didn't like Mac Jones before he was a 49er. I thought when he came into the league, he was super arrogant. He had his DUI. Sounded like he wasn't the most coachable player. And now Mac is really likable. He's on a trajectory personality-wise. I'm not saying player-wise, but personality-wise as Baker Mayfield to me. I didn't like Baker either. But I changed my mind. Like based off of what I see. And speaking of changing my mind, again, and it's on the channel, you can go check it out. I had Brock Purdy as a 3rd-round draft pick. I thought he was a good prospect, much better than the league thought. And I also celebrated when he was drafted. It's on the channel. And then when he was playing and playing good football, much like I've talked about Mac Jones right now, I said, this is the most fun that I've had in the Shanahan era. It's a lot of fun watching Brock Purdy play and kind of go on this magical run that he did in year 1. The same way I'm talking about Mac Jones right now. So the only person that's upset about any quarterback conversation would be you, Chuck, not me. I could care less about Trey Lance, man. I think he's a good kid. I hope he gets a chance. That would be cool. But he's not a 49er. I don't care. Sunday Living, correct. Mac, Saleh, Kyle have all stepped up his play. Kyle stepped up his play calling. just a pubic hair. I get it. And coaches are forced to play rookies. Kyle is still predictable. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think Kyle's been really good. Personally. Keyshawn says, here's a couple bucks. Stay corny. Never believed in fake news until listening to your content. Narrative framing and disingenuous coverage. Okay. Thanks, I guess. Let's see. I watched Jake Moody blow at least 4 games last year. Yeah, I did too. And thank God for Eddie Pinheiro, for sure. For sure. That run was possible because of CMC trade. For sure, it was. The 49ers were really good with CMC. Really, really good. No, he was a baller at Oklahoma. First of all, that draft, I had Josh Allen as my number 1 quarterback. I had Lamar Jackson number 2. And I've posted screenshots of those things. Or videos, I should say, of my podcast from back then. I didn't like Baker. I thought there was a chance that he could be out of the league in 5 years. And I think that was really close to happening if it wasn't for his chance with the Rams. But a lot of that wasn't because of the player. It was because of the attitude. And remember, he had some issues too. I didn't like the way that he carried himself. I wasn't a fan of it. And also, I thought he was throwing to a lot of very wide open receivers at Oklahoma, which is why when I looked at Josh Allen completing like 56% or whatever it was in college, but I was looking at the degree of difficulty of his throws compared to Baker's, and Baker's completing like 70-something percent. I just thought that Josh Allen would be a much better player, and that's panned out for sure. But Baker, I'm a fan of Baker right now. Big fan of Baker. I really like Baker Mayfield. I think he's turned his life around. He's had a child. He's a devoted Christian. His attitude isn't what it is. And when it does show, it's actually endearing because it shows in spurts and it shows at the right times. He's galvanized that team. He's done nothing but play at a high level. He's got a chance to win an MVP. Like, I'm a legit Baker Mayfield fan. I'm a legit Mac Jones fan right now. I love what I'm seeing from Mac Jones. I didn't like him out of college. The point is that I changed my mind. It's okay. It's sports. It's life. We do that. Kalania says Tatum Bethune is legit, showing up all game. I agree. Tatum Bethune is legit. And I was worried when he 2 seasons ago. This is third season balling. Baker's been on a heater for 3 seasons. But I agree with your first comment, Kalania, is that Bethune played really, really good. Really, really good. And I hope that he can keep it up. Because when Fred Warner comes back, like, this is a good thing that they have this much linebacker depth. Because Winters, sporadic, what have you. I'd like to see a little bit of Nick Martin. I'm curious to see what he's got going on. But, Antonio says, it's funny. People seem to be missing the fact that Mac is doing the things that made us fall in love with Brock. No diss to Brock, just loving Mac right now. Exactly. You mean Mac's coming in as a backup quarterback, playing within the confines of the offense, making plays when it's needed, winning football games, and capturing the imagination of a big chunk of the fan base, much like Brock Purdy did? Yeah, he's doing all of those things. And I guess it was okay to celebrate it when Brock was doing it, but it's not okay to celebrate it when Mac's doing it because we like Brock, I guess. I don't know. We like Brock more than we like rooting for the team in some instances. And we'd rather get really nasty and dunk on the guy that's just bringing up the point on YouTube. Paying me, by the way, to do so. That was nice of that gentleman. Because, we got to protect Brock Purdy at all costs. Okay. Remember when the Avenger gets injured, we automatically lose a couple of games till they're back? Yeah, for sure. For sure. I'm happy too. And listen, if Brock comes back and they continue to win, then that would be great. Like, that would be ideal. Like, all I'm doing is pointing out the obvious, which is Brock is in a really tough situation when he comes back. That's all I said. And somehow people got so up in arms over that. I was actually being kind of empathetic to Brock and his situation. But somehow that's completely misconstrued. I don't know. Be adults, I guess. Stop being babies. I don't know what to tell you. Mac Jones is playing well. He definitely is executing our offense. The offense lacks big playmakers, but getting first downs with checkdowns is fine. Brock pushes. Listen, Mac has made some big time throws too. 3rd and 13, a good example of that. So there you go. Yeah, maybe it is 2 games. Who knows? Yeah, he does. On first down and throws interceptions. An awful lot. I agree. Too Shicey says, to all the Purdy lovers, let's see how he balls out when he comes back and keep the same energy if he's throwing more interceptions than TDs and giving the team losses. Oh, giving the team loses because of turnovers. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. Epic Army says, sorry, bro, you're a great dude. My bad for trolling you in the past. I'm being for real. Have a good night. Read my comment above if you didn't see it. My apology. Okay, I'll look for it. You don't need to apologize. I don't really care. Like, I don't take it like to heart. I mean, I don't know you guys. Some of you I've been blessed to meet. And some of you I actually talked to, and it's really cool. But like Epic, I appreciate the support. I appreciate you watching. But I genuinely like don't know you. So you could say whatever you want. It's not going to hurt my feelings. Like, I'm okay. But I do appreciate you apologizing, man. I do. He says, I just want to say, bro, I'm sorry, troll. Oh, and saying the Trey Cope thing a few times to you. Oh, you're that guy. To you, sorry for being an a-hole in the past. Forgive me, fam. Everyone can have their opinion. No, I appreciate it, bro. I appreciate it. I thought it was actually kind of funny. I thought we had a good back and forth there because the way that you would say it was like, that's not what you mean. I think you're trying to punk me, but you're not really doing it. I don't know. But I appreciate you, Epic. Thank you. Spidey G says, Jesse, hot take. I think we lose this game if Purdy played. I don't know about that necessarily. I'm not going to go that far. I feel like this was a game that the run game was just humming. The defense was humming. You hold the Falcons to 10 points. I think the 49ers win this game with Brock. I really do. I do. Jesse, can you say it hurts your feelings so we can feel like we impact your life and matter more than we do? You guys do impact my life. Genuinely, you guys do impact my life. I'm not trying to make it sound like I don't appreciate people that watch. I just don't take it to heart when people... Listen, this is sports. And the channel mantra is literally that we're like your favorite barbershop. We give our take down to the last second. But barbershop banter and talking trash with your friends is very normal. Like my friends in my life, if I haven't talked to a friend in 6 months and I call him, I'm talking the most trash to him immediately. So I don't take it to heart. I really don't. First of all, I think it's hard to read context from text. I think a lot of people say quote unquote mean things that they don't want it to come across that mean. They're just busting my balls or whoever's balls in the chat. And that's okay. And those that are trying to be mean, it doesn't work. I don't care. I've had 0 people come up to me at any game that I've been to, and I'm very vocal about the games that I'm going to. If somebody genuinely has an issue with me, go to the game and say it. See how that goes. But I don't take it to heart. I don't. Keyshawn says, here's $5 more to pay the bills. By the way, 16 for 16 Eddie Pinheiro is pretty good, but you won't talk about it. And you know, I know, and everyone knows why. Well, why don't you pay $5 more and tell me? Let me know. And I don't need it to pay the bills. But since you're on a roll, let's just keep it coming. Because we don't know, but we would like to know why. Clutch. What's up, Marco? He says, oh, Big Bad Jesse, I'll see you next game, and I'll say it to you. I know you will. I know you will. Was a good team to stick to the run against? Yeah, for sure, man. They couldn't stop the run. Exactly, right? If you watch the stream with Coach and I, dude, we argue so much and debate so much and talk so much trash to each other. But it's all in good fun, man. It's all in good fun. You give me a little extra exercise there, all right? I was 6'2", 230. I'm now 205. All right. A svelte 205. Feeling good, by the way. But no. And also, people just aren't really jerks in real life. I think, honestly, when people talk trash the way they do, it's a reflection of them. It's not a reflection of me. So, if anything, I honestly would probably pray for those people. I genuinely don't take it to heart. I don't. And if somebody had something to say in person, more power to them. I doubt it, but we'll see. Keith, what's up, Keith? How you doing? He says, bang, bang, Jesse, and thanks for the support. Always, brother. Always. Hopefully you're doing well over there, too. No, I'm 6'2". I'm not 6'3". I'm 6'2". I'm actually 6'1 3/4", if we want to get technical. Keyshawn says you can't provide nuance against your narrative. What's my narrative, Keyshawn? Keep paying money to tell me what my narrative is, because I genuinely don't know. Please, what's my narrative? Everybody in the chat wants you to pay $5 more to tell me what my narrative is. $2 won't get it done. You don't have enough characters. You might actually want to pay 10 so you can really spell it out for us. Pay 10 and spell it out for us. I would love it. Spidey G, Jesse, who do you want to win the World Series? My wife is a Dodgers fan. I hope they lose. I don't care much about baseball, but I did grow up in the Northwest. Huge King Griffey Jr. fan. Alex Rodriguez, Joey Cora, Jay Buhner, Edgar Martinez, Randy Johnson. So, yeah, I would root for Seattle. And didn't LA just win it like last year? I don't know. Good point, Frisco. He might want to pay 20. I'll take it. We do. Where's the context? We need it. We need it. Screw the Dodgers. For sure, for sure. Ooh, who's your MVP so far? Sala or CMC? Ooh. I have to go Sala, man. I do, because like CMC is having a really good season. But the last time he was healthy, he was Offensive Player of the Year. So you kind of expect it. Losing Fred Warner and losing Bosa and going out there and coaching that team the way he has, Salah is like the single most important part of this team. He really is, man. He really is. Really, really is. Salah is making magic for sure. It's hard to debate this. Hard to debate this. I don't know. I hope he's writing out a good one. Jesse, could you one day make a video doing a retro breakdown of Super Bowl 47 or Super Bowl 54, like film analysis? No, unfortunately. I'd have to do it in a way that it's not on YouTube, because YouTube would demonetize me and probably give me a copyright strike. It would be fun, but no, I can't. YouTube things. Salah needs a raise for sure. I know, man. Rad was great. Absolutely great. All right, y'all. Listen, we're an hour and 18 in. We had 1,700 strong watching between X and YouTube. Appreciate everybody for contributing, especially the guy that says I have a narrative. Would love to see that essay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Keyshawn, you want controversy. You breed divisiveness. Bro, this is good. This is you're a good writer. I like that. Very descriptive of you. Anything for content. Your basic fake news, just with a sports spin. I will help you keep the lights on. Brother, I don't know if you know this. I'm going to let you in on a little secret, all right? I don't pay the bills with YouTube. I have a full-time job that makes pretty good money. But I appreciate you, okay? Goodness sakes. This is true. This is true. Picture or it didn't happen. All right, y'all. Listen, I appreciate everybody. Have a good night, everybody. I'll be back tomorrow with Coach. Much love. Enjoy this 49er win. Peace.